here quickly we're going to see if we can find some larvae and explain how to do a split cell if you're wanting to split a hive and have them raise their own queen. It is one step better than just doing a speed split. So managing what the bees do after they're queenless is really important if you don't want them just to swarm on you after you've done your split. So this is a perfect example of when they need more room. As soon as you're breaking it open and there's honey to the top, they're out of room and we're setting these guys up to swarm. So these guys are behind having a box by, I'd say, at least a week. And because it's honey, so the queen should not be up here. But anytime you have wax and resources coming up, we will always just do a quick scan across the top cover, and she's not there, so we're good to keep moving along. All right, we're going to get right down to business here. And the nice way to get frames out is there's room on the sides, and I will actually move all the frames over like that. You can see them all shifting, and I can get right to the middle and save myself time. If you're not too used to working with bees, and you start out here and work your way in, but this is the way to save time. You just make room, and when you pull the frame up, it's really important you don't roll the bees. So I'll see a lot of people grab it here and just pull up, and when you roll bees, they get mad. And but if you go slow like that, you allow them time to get out of the way. So what you're doing pulling slowly like that is they get time to move out of your way. So now the problem here is if you were to just do a side-by-side speed split, you can see this comb it's hard and it's old. And so if the bees want to try to build a cell up here, it's going to be an emergency cell. They have to use an existing young larva that's in one of these cells, and they have a hard time. It's not fresh, easy wax for them to deal with, so they have to pull it out, and you'll see these weird queen cells that come straight out and then kind of turn and go down. And it's difficult for them to do. Oh, here we go. So here, examining this, this is also queenless. So here is a queen cell, and this is, you can tell the age of it and how soon we're going to have a virgin queen here by the end of that cap. So the end of that cap is really fibrous. This looks like something where the queen will be emerging like today or tomorrow or right away. And what you'll see there, sometimes you get tricked because the queen will actually come out of here, and the way she opens that cell is it's cut like a perfect manhole cover with a little hinge on it, and sometimes you gotta be careful and see if it's closed up again, right? So this one's definitely closed, but sometimes that flap falls closed again. The queen's not even in there, but it looks like she is. So we'll see what's going on here. We'll just let her out right now. You can tell by how fibrous it was that she's ready. So we'll let this out, and what you're going to write on here, Dana, is virgin queen, and we'll see if we can get it. Oh, what's this going on down here? Okay, so if there's more than one queen cell, what you'll see is if there's a hole on the side, say a hole here, it would mean that there is already a queen running around in here because they'll poke little holes in the side, and the bees come over and finish the rest. So let's see if we can get this virgin out here. She's going to be a few hours early. There she goes. So now we have a new queen. We'll leave it in here. The proper way to do this now would be, now she's a flight hazard because she's a virgin. So Dan, if you just hold it right here, and if she decides to jump off or anything like that, she'll be there. So I'm not getting to the point where I want you to show a split cell, but we're doing hive management here. That's behind schedule on these hives. So now the next point is, we know there's a virgin there. We don't want two virgins in here. So I'll pull every frame quickly and have a quick look here. And so following the brood nest, here we're getting a solid sheet of honey. I typically would never even look at these two because as it comes across, these should all be honey. So we're following the brood nest. So all I'm going to do is flip through here real quick, and if I see a queen cell, knock it down. We don't want any other queens emerging, so there's one right there. The other option would be is if this was a really booming hive, which it's not, this is just a kind of average strength. I could take this with, if we really want to knock this down, to make sure there's no chance of swarming, I could take this with another frame and make a nuke. And actually, they're awesome winter survivors when you do it this way, because there's a cell there, and I could make another nuke out of this. We're going to let this hive actually build up with that virgin and do honey. So we don't want that queen cell. And you're noticing all the queen cells are on the bottom. So I mean, we're probably going to get lucky and prevent this from swarming. Another one there. And we're catching it like in perfect timing here, because that queen would have been out of there in another today, I'm sure of it. So as you can see, she just walked right out. So sometimes, I mean, if I wasn't filming here, we would knock this off, and you can see very clearly if you're missing any cells, but most of these are going to be on the bottom and easy to find. So, and there's not that many bees in here. So, drone cell. Okay. Now, part of something we've always done is, if we're not doing any queens, we are raising some queens, so we leave, see, that's what you got to watch for. That's 2 hidden queen cells that you might miss, so we want to get rid of those. If you're not worried about raising queens, really good mite management is every time you're in the colony, something like this. This is basically a mite suppository here with all these drones. We would just scrape that off and remove it, and every time you're doing that, you're actually taking mites out of your colony. And we've always kept that as part of our management, is if we're not needing drones, we'll actually remove them when they're capped like that, because there's mites trapped underneath those cappings, and you can just get rid of mites while you're at it. So there's no eggs here, so that means this actually swarmed some time ago. There's no larva, so this has been queenless for a good amount of time. And actually, in fact, at this stage, so we've got another virgin here, right there. So what we can do is, if we wanted to, now that I don't want to waste a queen, so at this point we would grab a nuke box, and we can put this into a new box, and we'll let her get mated. And there's our virgin on this frame, that can go in this box. And then, Dana, what you want to do is put another frame right here, because we want to give her some brood, definitely.
This one here?
Yeah. Either one of those. Just take 2 of those out, I guess. Okay. We'll really weaken it up. So when you want to prevent this from swarming, you need to make it feel like they did swarm, and make them feel to the point. You want to basically, what it's called in beekeeping, is demoralize them, and that prevents them from swarming. So demoralizing them means weakening them to the point where they just turn off that swarming urge and go back to production mode. So. So the right way to do this would be to take that virgin, a completely new bee yard, but we're going to do something a little different here, and it reduces your chances of success, but you can still do it in 1 yard, which is block it off with grass completely for a day, so that they feel trapped inside, and then hopefully once they get through that grass, they decide to stay. So this frame had a queen.
I'm going to go get empty frame.
Okay, need more smooth. So this frame had the queen. I'm going to come over here and just check the rest for any more virgins running around. I'll keep my eye open for that now. I didn't see the open capping from her. So again, there's no eggs, so this definitely swarmed a while ago. Very little uncapped brood. That's going to be that brood we saw before that was uncapped. It looked like it was probably so that's the danger there. So this is what you want to watch for, and you can miss very easily. And this, you can see the size of it because it's off of old comb. These could have been, I have a feeling these were, this must have been split and left queenless, because that is definitely what you would classify as what looks like an emergency cell. They couldn't build it fast enough. They picked a crappy place to build it, and look how small it is. So you don't want to let stuff like that hatch out, because you're going to end up with a bad queen. All right. Okay, I'm going to double check this, because I think since we're doing the same location, the key is also, if you're doing the same location, you give the bees enough resources that they don't want to abandon. They'll abandon honey in a lickety split. What I mean is by resources is brood. You need to have enough brood in a same yard split to make them want to stay put. All right, just throw that in there instead. Just double check there's no virgin running around there, so we don't want 2 in the same one. something like this, I definitely remove things that are in the way, like this is just in the way. Sometimes there's not much point in removing stuff because you can never get rid of all the wax and they'll just rebuild it. So this can be pulled into the center. And last frame, just check. It's unlikely there'll be anything on here, but worth a try. Nothing there, and nothing there. Okay? So we'll checkerboard this once. We'll put one of our new carousel frames in there because they're drawing it so quickly. And this will be marked, both of these we've marked VQ, which stands for Virgin Queen, and the date. And then if it's a Virgin Queen today, I mean, we won't check it for at least a week. Give her lots of time, so when we do come back in, it's easier to find the eggs because she's had time to go. So, all right, so this is the frame. We've been seeing these getting drawn out in 2-3 days. We just looked at a beautiful one. Now, I better make sure I'm doing that the right way for everybody. So here we have a frame. This is ready to be capped, so they're not going to draw this out any farther. This is capped, so this is a good frame to put a foundation between. And this one here, same thing, it's brood. They're not going to cap that out, and we missed that. So definitely not what we want in here. You can see that's about to hatch, and it's going to be a little mini queen. You don't want to let that happen. That's what emergency queen cells look like, where they're just not great. When they plan ahead, you're going to have cells that are nice and big, and they're going to be like a real queen cell should look like that, like the fat length of your finger and big and fat like that. These little nubbies, you don't want that to be your queen. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So with foundation, it's okay to checkerboard it in. These ones aren't so strong enough to checkerboard the whole thing, so we'll just leave it like that. And when we come back, when they start to put honey up, we can move this in or add a box.